What if the reason Japanese homes never smell like damp clothes has nothing to do with better detergent? What if it is not a stronger fabric softener, not a more expensive washing machine, not a secret Japanese soap you have never heard of? What if it is a bacterium that survives the sun, a 5-hour clock that starts the second you press start, and a bathroom that was never designed to be a bathroom? Because there is a fact that surprises almost everyone who moves to Japan. Japan is one of the most humid countries in the developed world. June brings the rainy season. Humidity sits above 70% for weeks. And yet, according to a 2024 survey by Belle Maison, 72.1% of Japanese families regularly dry their clothes indoors, and almost half of them do it all the time. No balcony, no sun, no smell. If you have ever spent a morning in a small apartment in Osaka, you know how strange that feels. It is 6:30. Outside it is raining. Inside, a woman hangs bath towels in the bathroom, turns on a switch that says, "Kansu drying," and closes the door. No clothesline outside, no scented spray. 3 hours later, the towels are dry, warm, and they smell like nothing, which in laundry, nothing is the best smell of all. So how does that happen? The internet loves a simple answer. It says Japanese detergent is better, or that they love cleanliness. Simple, memorable, and not true. Today, I am going to uncover what actually explains why Japanese homes do not smell like damp laundry. What part is biology? What part is timing? What part is architecture? And which popular laundry advice deserves to be thrown away? To understand this, you have to forget the way we usually talk about laundry. We talk about washing. Japanese experts talk about drying. Imagine you just washed a towel. You think it is clean. In reality, it is a buffet. The real culprit behind that sour, musty, wet rag smell was only identified in 2011 when Kao Corporation and Aichi Gakuen University announced it at the Japan Society for Bioscience, Biotechnology, and Agrochemistry. The name is Moricella osloensis, Moricella for short. Professor Yoshiaki Kawamura of Aichi Gakuen University, the leading researcher on this, said it plainly. The smell of namagawaki is the smell of Moricella osloensis metabolites. This bacterium lives everywhere. Your skin, your mouth, your kitchen sink, the top of your shoebox. It is a commensal bacterium, normally harmless. You have it on a brand new towel and it does not smell. The problem starts when Moricella gets two things: leftover oil and water. Every time you use a towel, your skin leaves behind sebum, sweat, and tiny flakes. Those get deep into the fibers. Cotton is especially good at hiding them. Even the best detergent cannot get to 100%. When the towel stays wet, Moricella starts eating that sebum. And when it eats, it excretes. What it excretes is called 4-methyl-3-hexanoic acid. That is the sour smell. The bacterium itself does not smell. Its poop does. And here is the twist that breaks everything you thought you knew about sun drying. Unlike most bacteria, Moricella is resistant to drying and ultraviolet light. Kawamura's team found that once it attaches to fabric, it is hard to reduce. It forms a kind of barrier and stays. So you can hang it in full sun, you can wash it again, and the smell comes back the moment it gets wet again from your sweat. Because the survivors inside the fiber wake up and start eating again. Which brings us to the number every Japanese laundry pro is obsessed with: 5 hours. Laundry researcher Rie Hiroshima puts it this way. Basically, if laundry does not dry within 5 hours, Moricella appears, and that fragrant, sour smell happens. A former housekeeper who now teaches indoor drying says the same. Moricella explodes when the wet state lasts more than 5 hours. Professor Emeritus Masaru Oya of Yokohama National University explains it like this. Even after washing, the bacteria definitely remain. They multiply rapidly. If it is still damp after 5 hours, that is when the odor starts. In other words, the game is not how you wash. The game is how fast you dry. The equation is simple. Drying time must be less than 5 hours. If you win that race, you never get the smell, no matter if you dry indoors. So the question becomes, how does a country that dries indoors 72% of the time win a 5-hour race in 80% humidity? The answer is not willpower. It is environment. If you walk into a modern Japanese apartment, you will notice 3 things that look normal to Japanese people and weird to everyone else. First, the bathroom. It has a button panel with a word, Kansu. That is the bathroom dryer. It is a ventilation system that blows warm, dry air, dehumidifies, and circulates. Panasonic's own data shows that for dual-income households, 78.6% now dry indoors as a daily routine, and the bathroom has become a natural drying room because it already has a fan that runs 24 hours. Second, air movement. Japanese pros say wind divides destiny. A cleaner from Kurokawa Cleaning says it clearly. Creating airflow with wind is important. In a windless, fixed state, air does not move. Just making airflow with wind completely changes drying speed. So they do not hang laundry by the window where air is stagnant. They hang it where air moves. They use a circulator or a small fan blowing sideways across the clothes, not directly at them, on swing mode. They use arch drying where long clothes on the outside and short clothes on the inside create a tunnel for air. They use zigzag hanging for towels so they do not touch. Third, dehumidification. In summer, a compressor dehumidifier uses a third of the electricity of a desiccant type and pulls liters of water out of the air while you dry. Sharp and Panasonic models even have a sensor that stops when the laundry is dry. It is not about heat, it is about removing the water that just evaporated from the clothes. Otherwise, humidity spikes in drying stalls. None of this requires being Japanese. It is just building a room that dries clothes in under 5 hours without relying on sun. Now, the honest part most laundry videos skip. Washing still matters, but not in the way you think. There are 3 habits before drying that make more Excella impossible to beat later. 1. Never leave wet towels in the hamper or in the drum. That wet time before washing counts toward the 5 hours. Fukui Kosen professor Katsumi Takayama says 3 conditions make bacteria explode within hours. 20 to 30 degrees C, a humid wet state maintained, and leftover protein. A wet towel in a closed drum is all 3. In many Japanese homes, they put a tension rod above the washing machine and hang the used bath towel there until the minute they wash. They keep it dry before they try to make it clean. 2. Load size. Both too much and too little reduces cleaning power. The sweet spot is about 80% full. If you overload, detergent cannot circulate. If you overload, friction drops. Either way, sebum stays as food. 3. Reset when it already smells. Normal washing will not kill more Excella once it is colonized. Its weak point is heat, 60 degrees or higher. The proven reset in Japan is oxygen bleach, sodium percarbonate, plus water over 60 degrees. Soak, then wash normally. That kills the bacterium and dissolves the deep sebum at the same time. Cow's official advice adds the same 2 iron rules. Remove soil thoroughly and dry fast to suppress bacterial growth. Use an antibacterial detergent. Do not use leftover bath water for rinsing and leave space between clothes. There is one last detail that explains why some clothes smell fine when dry and then stink the moment you wear them. It is the illusion of dry. Surface feels dry, but inside the fiber still holds a little moisture. When you fold it and put it in a closet, temperature equalizes, and that residual moisture reactivates the remaining Excella. That is why Japanese housekeepers teach a cool-down period. After it feels dry, leave it hanging another 30 minutes in moving air. Touch the thickest seam, the inside of a pocket, the armpit. If it is even slightly cool to the touch, it is still damp. So, a more honest version of the title is this. Japanese homes do not have magic detergent. On average, they have many small systems that all push drying time under 5 hours. Less food for bacteria before washing, enough but not too much detergent. 60-degree resets when needed. Bathrooms that dry, fans that create wind, dehumidifiers that remove the invisible water, and a habit of checking the inside, not just the outside. None of those require being Japanese. That is the hidden lesson. We tend to think clean laundry is about how hard we scrub, but lasting freshness usually begins with the room. If you do not have to rely on sun to dry, you dry faster. If you do not have to rely on memory to not leave wet towels in the drum, you prevent bacteria before it starts. So before you buy another scented booster, try asking a different question. The same one that small bathroom asked, if my home was designed to dry clothes in under 5 hours, what would I do differently today? Would I put a small circulator on the floor and aim it sideways? Would I hang my towels in a zigzag with space between them? Would I stop storing wet towels in the washing machine and hang them on a rod until wash time? The goal is not perfume. The goal is nothing. Clothes that smell like nothing when you press them to your face on a rainy Tuesday. Because the biological truth is not that Japanese homes never get humid. It is that their daily life gives more Excella less time to arrive. And if you build a life that does the same, your nose will notice long before any detergent commercial does. If this breakdown of the hidden systems behind Japanese laundry changed the way you look at your own home, please subscribe and like the video. I am dedicated to uncovering the history and engineering that others try to ignore. Let's build a cleaner future together. The next deep dive into the secrets of domestic life will be opening soon.